We are finally here. It is May 6th, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Elevation. I am the owner of World Domination Wrestling Alliance, Gavin Jackson. I am here with my co-host. He is a member of the World Wrestling Talk podcast. I'm sorry, I'm so excited. He's a part of the Wrestle Talk podcast. He's also the FWWC Hardcore Champion, Mr. Hardcore Haas. Hardcore Haas, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I am doing good. Excited to be here. And, it's a big night for us to have this show to come to tonight. And we're glad for the fans that are tuning in. And it's just going to be one heck of a show. We've got plenty lined up for you and just can't wait to get into everything tonight, I tell you.
That's right, man. You talk about can't wait. Like, I've been looking for this moment now for the past month, man. Ever since me, you, Renee, all the Wrestle Talk, all the WDWA have gotten together and we laid this plan out, man. It was just nonstop. My gears were running. I couldn't wait to figure out all the little details we were going to do to make this thing launch. I know with WTP and WDWA, what we're looking to do with this podcast is we're really trying to get both branches to expand, to build the WDWA family, to build the WTP family. We're looking to get across the United States as well as the world, anywhere we can to get eyeballs on both shows. And we're mainly running WDWA here. And Wrestle Talk podcast, they have their own stuff over on the opposite Tuesdays as us. But man, together, I think this is something that's going to be fantastic, and we're going to knock this out the park. And I hope and pray that everything goes well for both companies. And I'm really excited about this collaboration, man. And it's an honor to be able to start episode 1 with you, Hardcore Haas. And I just want to know, like, when did you get started with Wrestle Talk podcast?
Wrestle Talk podcast, I've been with them actually for several years now. When I very first started out with Wrestle Talk, it was where, they were looking for somebody to man the telephones. That's when we were over on Blog Talk Radio. They wanted somebody who could answer the calls and screen the callers while they were doing the show and didn't have to have one of them stop what they were doing to screen. So, I came in and I started screening callers and playing the drops and stuff while they were doing everything else. So all they had to worry about was hosting. And then as the show just evolved, and it ended up where, we came over to the platform that we're on tonight. And once we came over here, we don't have the calls. And so it just ended up that they needed help hosting. So, that's when I started filling in as a host, and it's just been a blast. And I absolutely love the Wrestle Talk family, the Wrestle Talk fans. And, it's just a privilege to be a part of it. And it's an honor to be a part of the Elevation podcast now with yourself here at WDWA. So, how about yourself, Gavin? How did you get involved in becoming owner of WDWA?
Well, great story. Before I launch onto that, I'd like to share a little bit about my experience with Wrestle Talk podcast. I actually started a relationship with them probably about 10 years ago when our current referee, Joe Lance, actually started the show with Richard Rose, who, God bless Richard Rose. He's no longer with us anymore. And I worked for a wrestling company out of West Virginia called Covey Pro Wrestling, ran by Cody Covey. There he is, Jax. Yeah, and one of their biggest shows, their WrestleMania, so to speak, was called All or Nothing. We had somebody on our card that actually went to high school with Joe Lance, and Joe Lance and him got together, and between the two of them, they were able to get the company on to sponsor our shows. We actually flew Richard Rose out. Him and Joe Lance called the All or Nothing show live. It was just amazing, and that's how our relationship started. And then from on there, we moved on to where I met Renee. Renee was kind enough to, do everything he's done with WDWA, with myself, as well as the previous owner, Andre Suarez, the Latin Tornado. Yeah, and we just continue to grow. Our relationship continues to grow, and I have nothing but nice things to say about everybody at the WTP podcast. And God bless you guys all. You guys have always opened the doors up with open arms. And when I had this idea for podcasts, you guys were the first ones I ran to see about the possibilities of making this happen. So yeah, my relationship has been around for quite some time with WTP. I know what you guys bring to the table, and I know that together we're able to make anything successful, because I know there's hard workers on both sides, and if you want something hard enough, you'll get it. Back to your question about WDWA. So WDWA goes back about 11 years now. Prior to that, I mentioned Covey Pro Wrestling. That's where I met the Latin Tornado, Andre Suarez. When Covey Pro decided to close their doors, it left an empty market in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. So the Latin Tornado and his wife at the time, they got together and they came up with the idea to run WDWA, World Domination Wrestling Alliance, in that area. He asked me and a handful of other Covey Pro wrestlers to join the roster. And we were off and running. All the fans were familiar with us from working in the town. And we just sort of launched WDWA right then and there out of Berkeley Springs. And then, so I wrestled for him for a handful of years. Good night. I love you. Wrestled for him for a handful of years. And after that, I decided to take a quick break. Had some injuries. I never took a break from wrestling. So I needed one. To be completely honest, which I probably shouldn't say it here, but I will because I'm honest, is I kind of fell out of love with wrestling for a little bit. I had to take a break. I had to, get it completely out of my head so that I can fall back in love with it. LT ended up getting a TV deal, so they needed commentary for their television. So he asked me to come back as a guest. Came back. Me and Travis Dufour both did commentary. I had a blast every night. Travis and I just tried to make each other laugh. He was freaking awesome to work with. And then LT, he needed a commissioner, so he decided to bring me a commissioner. During my commissioner roles with him, he let me take on other duties. Assuming I did well at those duties, because when it was time for him to move out of state and he wanted to either close WDWA for good or sell it, he came to me first, and he came to me with an offer. And I just, there's a big part of my heart that was already with WDWA, and I really didn't want to see it go away. And I really thought, with the team that we had and the roster that we had and everything we had going on, that, man, this is going to be a successful business, and it's time to grab it, relaunch it, and just come full swinging. And that's exactly what we've been trying to do ever since I've taken over as the owner. Now we're starting a podcast. We have Frontline, which is our weekly television show on YouTube. Man, I don't know if I want to make the announcement for the other thing right now, but I will next week. Don't want to do that. But we have a lot of things in store, and it's just been a blast being the owner. I couldn't be happier with the way things are turning out. We have everybody that works for WDWA is just awesome, inside and out, good people, always willing to help out, always willing to do their part, always being team players. Wrestling is known as the land of egos, and I gotta say, from the bottom of my heart, and I'm not just saying this, WDWA, there's very little egos, and it's a one big happy family between the fans and the workers and just the wrestlers and just everybody, from the people we rent the venue to. Everybody is loved, everybody chips in, and we really do feel like one big unit with everything we do. So yeah, that's a long story of a short question, so I apologize. But yeah, man, that's how we got here. I see I sort of see the hardcore championship on your belt, on your shoulder, man. Look at that thing. That thing is sweet. I know you just recently got a new one. Do you want to talk a little bit about the FWWC and what you guys do?
Yeah, I'm part of the FWWC. I've been a part of it now for, I want to say close to 7 years. And the FWWC is the closest thing to being a professional wrestler you can get without actually stepping in the ring. We do promos at each other. We do role plays throughout our challenges. Um, we do our challenges based on WWE shows, where we pick who's going to win the match. If they win, you get a point. Um, if you got it wrong, obviously you don't get a point. And if you win as you go through the ranks, you can actually get to the point that you go for championships. And this is one of the championships. If you've been to the shows, you've seen the championship Susie carries. I've had mine for almost 2 years now, and it's just a lot of fun. And so, it's something that if you've ever wanted to be in the wrestling world, but you just can't get in the ring, maybe there's a physical ailment that keeps you from it, or whatever. Or even if you can get in the ring, we've had people who are wrestlers who have joined the FWWC just to practice their promo game. So
And this just isn't Wrestle Talk podcast, right? This is a separate entity that works side by side with Wrestle Talk podcast, but it's a separate entity for people to join. And be exclusive and share those moments and be the wrestler you always wanted to be. I think we have a nice little advertisement for FWWC, John, if you don't mind me playing that real quick.
Nope.
Just people get a little bit more info. That is not it. I'm new to this, guys. That's why Johnny, the expert's here. Here we go.
Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter, where the world's smartest wrestling fans come together to compete for real championships. Original characters, trash talking, picks during live events, pay-per-views, and even get-togethers like bowling, ice skating, and pool tournaments as well. We have members from across the globe who will stop at nothing to climb to the top of the Fantasy Wrestling Power Rankings. Simply the best fantasy wrestling group in the world. Why? Because of you, the creative and active members of the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter.
I gotta say, John, that's like the coolest thing, man. I remember before I got into the wrestling business, I remember all the way back from when I was a little kid playing with wrestling figures, I just was always a matchmaker. I was always, wanted to be a wrestler, and, I started with the wrestling figures, and then I went with, I don't know if anybody in the world knows about this, but there was a TNM. It was called TNM. And it was a simulation wrestling game, to where you could choose your own roster, you can choose your matches, you could do everything you can behind a keyboard. And it was the coolest thing. You were the matchmaker, you were the owner. And this right here, the FWWC, reminds me so much of that, so I could see how much fun that would be. And I know, everybody a part of that is probably just having a blast, man. I think it's really cool you guys put that together. It's pretty awesome. Oh, Mark Rorman said he needs a belt, man. Go ahead and join the FWWC.
Yeah,
Let's see if you can take the hardcore title.
Check us out over there on Facebook. It's the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter over on Facebook. Check us out. And, when you first join, you may have to answer a few questions. And, but we'll get you in there. We'll get you going. And, like I say, you go through the ranks, you can get some belts just like these. Of course, you do have to send it out if you lose it. So,
John, can you hold that up so we can see it a little clearer? Man, that thing is sweet, man.
Yeah, and it's real leather, real metal plate. I mean, it's not your toy from Walmart. So
yeah. So if you guys want a shot at either the Hardcore Championship or another championship in the FWWC, go on over to the Facebook page, send them a message, and try to hook up with those guys. Maybe you guys could be the next champion. So what's up, John? What else are we going to talk about, buddy?
we have a lot to talk about tonight. I mean, you are coming off of just two absolute bangers of shows, I tell you. You've had the Holy Grail show, and then right after Holy Grail, you had Spring Spectacle, and just two absolutely awesome shows that, I hope the fans out there were able to catch it. They did not miss those two shows. Anything you'd like to highlight from those two shows, Gavin?
First of all, the Holy Grail is one of our key shows throughout the year. WWE always has their SummerSlams and, their Royal Rumbles and things like that. Holy Grail's one of our big shows. I've been wanting to get into the Ranson Civic Center for so long. It's an amazing building. It can hold a lot. But I've always been worried, because I didn't know if we would be able to pack the joint. And, thank God he opened up the doors to us, and we went out, we promoted the show, we packed the place. We had Tata's Treats out there, some of the best cheesecake in the world. They are awesome. So, not only did we have the place packed, the whole show went well. One of our guests tonight, J.T.R, kind of, ruined the show a little bit. But, with the exception of that, I think everything else went kind of smoothly, Our new Holy Grail champion, you got to give a big shout out to Supremacy member Austin Kingsley V. I know that most people are probably booing this guy and disappointed that he won. As for myself, I was rooting for DeMarcus Kane, the Kingpin. Him and I go way back, but because of Mr. JTR, and as you guys will see later in the show, Austin Kingsley the fifth is now your 2025 Holy Grail champion. For those of you who aren't familiar with WDWA and the Holy Grail, think about it as a money in the bank. So whoever won the tournament gets a Holy Grail trophy that they can show up anytime they want and cash in their Holy Grail trophy for a shot at the heavyweight championship whenever. So in the past, we've had our current champion cashed his in for his shot. That's Jordan Evans. Previously, we had Keikoa. He cashed his in. Shane Malice, ISP. Whoever's gotten this Holy Grail has knocked it out of the park. So, you never know what Austin Kingsley has up his sleeves. All I can say to the current champion, Jordan Evans, is to watch your back and, be ready at all times. But, yeah, man, Holy Grail went well. We followed that with Spring Spectacle. We saw the long-awaited return of Big Buddha. Me and Big Buddha go way back to the beginning stages of my career. He was one of the guys I held up on a pedestal for so long. He's such a great guy, and I'm so happy that we're doing business again. But really, the big return that I really wanted to let everybody know is, the return of Sis Sasaki. This is a lady that last year was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she's been fighting and going through all different different radiations and things like that. And she ended up having a double, I think it's called a mastectomy. Is that right? Could be wrong with that. Maybe somebody in the chat will correct me. And she's still fighting, but she is alive and well and healthy enough where she made her in-ring return and teamed up with Valerie to face off, against Tiffany. And Tiffany's partner, drawing a blank here. That's Tiffany. I was right, Susie. Oh, thanks, Alex. Yeah, he's awesome. Forgive me for not remembering the name, but had a tag match, and it was like she never lost a step. She came in, her and Valerie kicked ass, and man, just it's amazing to me. God is good. God got her through that fight, and it hasn't been easy for her. She's really had a nice group of people behind her fighting for her, and yeah, we're just happy that she's healthy and that she's back in WDWA. And Layla James was Tiffany's partner. Thank you for that, Danica. Um, which Layla James is a beast. Like, I would not want to fight Layla James. So yeah, that was a big return. And then we have to talk about the triple threat heavyweight championship match, which had our guest that we'll be bringing on later, Cake Boss Victor Jones, going against Money and Power's CEO, and then the heavyweight champion Jordan Evans. And Jordan Evans got continued. Jordan Evans won so that he could continue his reign. But Money and Power were not done. They cost Cake Boss the championship again, just like they cost them the Holy Grail championship. I'm kind of on the fence with this CEO Money and Power thing. Hoss, what do you think?
Yeah, it's really something to see, and I've come to the conclusion with CEO that he is truly the 1%er, because he only wins 1% of his matches. I mean, it is what it is. But
has he only been winning 1% since joining Money and Power? Now that's the question.
Well, I have a question about that as well, but I'd like to save that for when JTR is in here. But it's a lot of fun to watch, and I don't know what is going to come out of all this, because Money and Power, JTR is just trying to buy his way to the top, and I don't know that just everybody's going to bow down like he wants them to, but we'll see what happens, because obviously not everybody has a price, or things might have been a little different, last time, or at Holy Grail, as we'll see later. But
yeah, man, I agree with you. Money can't buy passion. Money can't buy ability. If somebody's passionate about what they're doing, you can offer them all the money in the world. That's not going to buy them to want to come over and join your team. Because if you look at Money and Power, they really haven't had any championships. They haven't had much success. Yeah, they've been dominant. Yeah, they've taken over matches, or they've even put people, on the injury reserve list. They've really been a big impact here at WDWA. But to be honest, like, they don't have much credentials yet, and I think the time is now. It's either put up or shut up. And if Money and Power, don't step up, then other people are just going to pass them by. I'd be happy to see what Cake Boss Victor Jones can do without Money and Power sticking their nose in his business. Because I guarantee he's good enough to beat anybody on that roster. Former tag team champion, former Mid Atlantic champion. Former WDWA West Virginia champion back in the day. He's got all the tools, man. And, sometimes you're just outnumbered, and sometimes you just can't get over that hump. And it's guys like JTR, Money and Power, and other guys we have here, Supremacy, all of those guys, that like to take shortcuts to get what they want. But we'll see, man. All you can do is hang in there and see what they come next. But yeah, man, if anybody has missed those shows, please tune in to our Frontline show that we show on YouTube every Thursday at 8 o'clock. If you don't know how to get there, here's a little video to show you how. So yeah, if you guys haven't had a chance, please get over and follow our Frontline show. Juan is phenomenal. I mean, this guy never sleeps. He works a full-time job at a TV studio, comes to WDWA, films everything that we need, goes home, gets it all edited, and then he creates the Frontline show. I swear this guy is a robot. All praise to Juan. We could not do what we do without him. But please go over there, give Wild Patriot a like. Please check out our matches. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. We just want you to be a part of the family, and we want to grow, and we can't do that without knowing what you guys like. On top of that, I also want to give a shout out to, our multiple commentators that we've had, our Donnie Diablo and Steve Netz. Those are our main two commentators. They like to call the shots a lot. We also have Jason Heat that sometimes steps in, and Hardcore Hoss. You had your big debut as commentary. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I had a great time. I got to work with Donnie, and as he's pointing out here, my first time at commentary, and I just thank you for the opportunity, and just really look forwards to any future opportunities that I may have. I mean, nobody can replace the main commentary team, but it was a lot of fun doing it, and just look forwards to anytime I can step in and help. Just
oh, poor Billy.
Yeah, there were some pretty good hits, I tell you.
I appreciate you stepping in, brother. You're a part of the family. It was an honor to have you call the shots with Donnie, and looking forward to seeing the front line. Thank you for all that you do. But we have another show coming up. That's Code Red coming this Saturday. What do you think, John? We'll be at the South Berkeley Fire Hall in Inwood, West Virginia. Doors open at 5:30. Bell time 6:15. What are you thinking, buddy?
I'll tell you, there is a lot of action on that card, a lot of good matches to look forwards to, and it is just going to be one heck of a show once again. And it's just hard to tell what's going to happen. It just really is, because you never know. And just when you think you figure out what's going to happen, there's always something that pops up and surprises you every time. And so I just look forwards to those surprises, and, I look forwards to the next show.
Yeah, man. Me too. Like I said, this thing has been off and running, and these shows are just coming together. Everybody's earning their spots. Everybody's kicking ass. And we just keep getting so much praise from the fans and everybody. One of the matches that I'm looking forward to, John, is the big tag team championship match between Black Wall Street, who I consider some of the best tag team work ever here on the East Coast. I've followed these guys around forever. I have nothing but respect for both gentlemen, as well as the rest of the Black Wall Street members. I think they're going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard for anybody to beat these guys. But J.T.R. seems to find a team, that he thinks can win those titles and bring them home to Money and Power, with the helm,
Yeah, and it's definitely looks like it's going to be a good match. I've seen some clips and stuff of what they've done elsewhere, and it's going to be interesting to see if J.T.R. can really buy those championships like he's trying to. I tell you.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you're not familiar with the helm, man, here, let me show you. J.T.R. put together a nice little video for us introducing the helm to not only Black Wall Street, but the WDWA audience, and now the Elevation audience.
All right. DeMarcus Kane. I told you, pal, I was going to change the game we were playing completely. The game we're playing now, DeMarcus, is war. And in war, You need soldiers. And these two men right here are exactly that. Paid mercenaries. Let me explain to you hillbillies what a mercenary is. A mercenary is a trained killer who's willing to do whatever you want for money. They're loyal to no cause, only the money. They will complete any task you give them. And the task these men right here, the helm, Tyler Root and Drew Blackwood have been given are to take those tag team titles from around your waist, Black Wall Street, and bankrupt you. And on May 10th at Code Red, that's exactly what's gonna happen. So DeMarcus, like I told you, pal, the game has changed, Kingpin, and you're already in checkmate.
Yeah.
Wow, I tell you, it's it's going to be very interesting, that's for sure. And it's going to be an interesting game one way or the other. It looks like Gavin might be a little frozen there, but yeah. So you've heard those comments there, and so let's go ahead and let's bring JTR in here while we see if we can get Gavin back. JTR, how you doing tonight?
Absolutely wonderful, Hoss. How could I not be doing great? I mean, look at this. I'm in a beautiful home, drinking beautiful, fine bourbon, and I'm me. Most of all, I'm me. I'm JTR, so of course I'm doing great. What kind of question is that?
So you have made plenty of acquisitions throughout the time you've been here. And, some of them have worked out pretty good. Some of them not so good. One acquisition that I'm kind of curious about is you got the acquisition of Jason Curtis, a man that you brought in and was supposed to be the muscle, but every time you have him step up for you, you still seem to get knocked down. And when you're not there, he's not winning the matches for you. Is he really that good of an acquisition for you at this point?
Hoss, let me explain something to you, okay? Jason Curtis was an acquisition for money and power. It wasn't necessarily to personally protect me. First and foremost, that's what I have AK Bane for, okay? He was brought in to handle things when I'm not there. He was brought in at the behest of CEO to watch his back when I can't be there.
So, okay, well, I see Gavin's back with us here.
It's about time.
It's episode 1, baby. We're learning as we go. We're calling it in the ring. Yes, I don't know what you guys talked about. I'm sure it was a bunch of bullshit. So how you doing, JTR?
Gavin, as I told him, I'm doing great. I'm JTR. How could I be doing any better? What kind of question is that? Dumbass question.
John, never ends, buddy.
I don't know how you put up with it.
How much is that,
How much? More than you'll ever see, Gavin. More than you'll ever see.
So, JTR, thank you for being a part of episode 1.
Absolutely. Look, I know you guys were out there trying to make this WDWA elevation big. You're trying to make it huge. So who better to have on than me? I mean, of course, I'm going to get all the ratings in the world. You put my face on anything, everybody's going to tune in, show up, and want to be a part of it.
I lobbied against this, and so did John. Like, we were going back and forth, but the only reason you're on here is because we need answers. You know,
Okay.
we have this huge tag match, going together. As you saw, everyone saw. We saw you introduce the Helm. You have the Helm versus Black Wall Street. What makes you think that the Helm is going to be able to beat Black Wall Street?
What makes me think that? I'll tell you. The Helm are two young, up-and-coming guys that are absolute savages, okay? These guys are mercenaries. Have you seen them? Have you seen what their vest says? Live rounds only, because that's what they bring. And when they come this Saturday night to Inwood, West Virginia for Code Red, they are going to absolutely obliterate Black Wall Street. They're younger, they're faster, they're stronger, they're better looking, and they work for me. So that gives them an advantage right there.
I don't even understand the beef you have with DeMarcus Kane and Black Wall Street. I mean, you made an offer, they decline, and you move on. That's how business.
Wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. DeMarcus Kane, DeMarcus had been calling me for months, Gavin, trying to be a part of Money and Power. They know that Black Wall Street is bankrupt. It's a thing of the past. They might have been great years ago. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, the guy was calling me 3 or 4 times a day. I'm hitting the decline button every single time. Here, DeMarcus Kane, decline. Chuck Lennox, decline. They wanted to be a part of it. So, again, look, I'm in a position. I need a tag team. So, you know what? I hate to say I was a little desperate. So, you know what? Hey, I'll give him an offer. And why's he got? Look what he did. I mean, look what he did. And you wonder why I got a beef with the guy.
Hardcore Hoss, you believe this?
No, because that's just not quite the way I remember things happening.
Me neither.
I seem to remember something a little different, and I think the guys in the truck back there, they might have a little something to shed a little light on this subject. What do you think, Kevin?
I'll get my call log out.
They do too.
So the reason I'm out here tonight is 100% business, and I got my checkbook in cash, and I'm looking for new members of Money and Power, and I want the best tag team money can buy. So all you idiots in the back, come on out, because I'm conducting interviews. There ain't going to be any matches until I find my tag team, Gavin.
You got room for Black Wall Street? You got enough money for Black Wall Street? I got enough. I'll tell you what. You got it. You got a foot in your ass, because never will you get Black Wall Street. Hey, get the hell out of my ring. You want the money? No. Get out of my ring or I'm going to put you off.
I didn't see the groveling. I just didn't.
Boss, you have no idea. You don't know. I don't need to show you, but I got it in my call log for the last several months. Now, let me ask you this.
Let's see the call log. Pull it up.
All right, just wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Your guy in the truck isn't good enough to get that up there on screen. But what he is good enough, I bet, to get up on screen is what happened later that night, or as Gavin likes to say, how I ruined the show. So... I love it. I love it. My God. That's the best ending I have ever seen to a show.
You ruined
Best ending.
a special night.
What are you talking about? I ruined what? Listen, here's how I like to think of it. You guys have seen that movie, Indiana Jones, right? Where the Holy Grail, it's in danger. It's getting ready to go to the wrong guy. And Indiana swoops in and grabs it and protects it and makes sure it goes where it belongs. That's basically what I did. Indiana J.T.R., the Grail Protector.
But Indiana Jones didn't hit somebody with their Brokeback Mountain cowboy belt.
Whoa.
Them the match.
Wait a minute. DeMarcus Kane got what he deserved, Gavin. That's what he got. I didn't cost him anything. What he did is he attempted to come out there in front of that beautiful building, as you said, in Ranson, in front of that huge crowd that filled the place, and make a fool out of JTR. And he thought that I was going to allow that to happen? I don't care if he's been around for 400 years, 15 years, 10 years, up and down the East Coast winning titles. I don't care. JTR is not going to be made a fool of. And when that happens, you are going to get a receipt. And that is exactly what DeMarcus Kane got that night.
What do you think, John?
I just don't know. It's when you cheat to win, it's just a hollow victory, in my opinion. And having to hit a man from behind is just. I think eventually he is going to get a hold of you, and it's not going to be a pretty sight for you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good luck. How's he going to do that?
I did notice nobody in Money and Power was in the final match. I do notice that. In fact, there was only even one guy who qualified for the tournament and didn't make it past the first round. John, you remember that?
Yes, I do. I don't remember seeing any Money and Power in that last round or in much of the tournament at all, really, after the qualifying matches.
Yeah, what do you guys say about that?
It's awful funny. It's awful funny you want to say that. And that's fine. That's fair. But at the end of the day, Money and Power determined who won the Holy Grail. So who cares? At the end of the day, I got what I wanted. And that was DeMarcus didn't win it.
But what you're not understanding, JTR, is it's not what you want. It's not what Money and Power wants. It's what the fans want. And you rob them of such a beautiful moment of what a main event, a WrestleMania-style main event between two great competitors, and you rob the fans of a great match.
Oh, goodness.
We're a little sad because your feelings got hurt.
I robbed them. What I did is I saved them like I always do, Gavin. I saved them. Just like I've saved them from Dad, just like I've saved them from the Latin Tornado, just like I've saved them from Unk. Every single time I have to step in and I have to show these people what's best because they're too stupid to know. And what was best for WDWA and even you, Gavin, I saved you time after time again and try to steer these things and steer this company in the right direction. And I took it upon myself to make sure that DeMarcus Kane did not win the Grail because I don't care about you talking about a WrestleMania match. Nobody wants to see him win the Grail and go for the heavyweight title. That's the last thing that they want to see. I promise you that. So I took it upon myself and I handled that piece of business like you should have and won't.
I wanted to see the Kingpin, DeMarcus Kane, win. Austin got a bye because your guy couldn't keep the match in the ring.
My guy, huh? My guy.
Guys, to get to
My
the main
guy.
event, he deserved to have that Holy Grail trophy.
Listen, at the end of the day, the man that's holding the trophy is the winner. You can't change that outcome. You can cry about it all day long here if you want. But at the end of the day, the outcome is the outcome. And Austin Kingsley V is the winner. I mean, if it's not a member of Money and Power, who better? Who better than a guy like that?
How about Cake Boss Victor Jones?
Cake pop.
He's got a shot.
Cake pop.
He's got a shot this upcoming Saturday against your monster.
Mm-hmm.
AK Bane.
That's right.
This is his chance to show you and everybody else, if you and Justin Curtis can stick your nose in somebody else's business for once, Victor Jones can deliver, and then he can make his way up the chart back to the heavyweight title.
Listen,
but that's not a picture you're letting him see right now because you guys can't stay out of his business.
Here, I'm going to give Victor Jones all the business he wants, and that business is AK Bane. And the only thing Victor's going to have to worry about on Saturday night is how he is going to get back home from the hospital. That's all he's going to have to worry about, because AK Bane is going to decimate him. This man is an absolute monster. Have you seen him? He is unstoppable. Unstoppable. And I can assure you that when he gets done with old Cake Pop over there, there won't be anything left but the stick, because he's going to crumble him. Absolutely crumble him in the middle of the ring. And what you keep doing is you keep trying to insert certain guys that you want, Gavin, into the heavyweight title picture. But what about the guys
that deserve it?
No. Guys that you want. You want. And that's why you keep talking, all you idiots keep talking about me buying this and buying that. I'm righting wrongs. And number one, on Saturday night, AK Bane is going to show when he takes your little hand-picked guy, Victor Jones, and he crushes him and shows that he is a contender for the heavyweight title. How about that?
Cassius Carter, Money and Power member, lost to the heavyweight champion. Right?
He was injured. He is battling an injury.
CEO, Money and Power member, lost twice to the heavyweight champion. What makes you think that AK Bane has a chance of even getting close to the title picture?
Well, I'll tell you what.
You know what, Hoss? I don't know if you've seen it or not, but AK Bane had something to say to Cake Boss and everybody. Have you seen that video yet?
I have seen it, but for those who haven't, I think it's time that we show them what AK had to say about Cake Boss.
Victor. Cake Boss, son. A threat. A threat you are. To man. Inwood, West Virginia. The Con Edison of Money and Power returns to turn Cake Boss into cake mix. Victor. I'll show you how much of a threat you are to a feral monster.
I gotta say, Hardcore Hoss, man, that's one scary SOB. But I think his days are numbered, man, when it comes to Big Boss. He just, so many guys have already slayed the beast since he's been at WDWA. Dad, for instance, Daniel Alexander Dabrowski has pinned A.K. Bane. Black Wall Street, they've taken him. Like, he's not unbeatable. As scary as he is, the monster can be slayed. And this Saturday, I believe it's going to happen. Hardcore Hoss, what about you, man? What do you think?
Yeah, I think Bane is going to be in for one heck of a fight, because I think Cake Boss is ready, and I think it's going to be a real slobber knocker of a fight back and forth. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for Bane like you think it's going to be. And, I believe that I've seen Cake Boss had some words of his own for Bane. And, what do you say we see how Cake Boss answered Bane's comments?
Yeah, let's see if he's intimidated at all by the monster.
A.K. Bane. I would love to say that was an excellent promo, but I'd be lying. You deliver a promo like you can't read good. So let me slow it down for A.K. Bane. A.K. Everybody wants to be like Vic. Everybody wants a piece of Vic. But the fact of the matter is, all you're going to be next Saturday in Inwood, West Virginia, is another victim. I'm going to show you firsthand by the fans, Gavin Jackson, and everyone in WDWA trust in Vic. So you can sit there and say, oh, I'm going to turn the Cake Boss into Cake Mix. But the truth of the matter is, I'm going to turn A.K. Bane into a shit stain.
And right there is the reason why I would put my money on Cake Boss. Is you're not dealing with a guy going into the match just trying to out wrestle. I think Money and Power have pushed this guy over the limits to where he's coming for a fight. He's coming with rage. All you guys have done is beat the man down, beat the man down, beat the man down. He is not going to come into this match, to try to out wrestle AK. He's coming to put the giant down.
He really did not seem scared or intimidated at all to me, and that, he seems to be ready to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, fellas. I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. You rattled off all these people who have gotten fluke victories over AK. Well, let me tell you something, because as you've all probably been aware, JTR and AK haven't been around a whole lot in 2025 yet. However, what JTR has been working on for Money and Power is building an army to go to war, okay? And I can tell you right now that AK has been training day and night by the best in the world that money can buy. And you are going to see a whole new feral monster. And I can tell you right now that I hold the keys to that weapon of mass destruction. And he is going to nuke Vic Saturday night. Promise you that.
Keys to the door to elevation. And ladies and gentlemen, let's open the door.
What's that got to do with anything?
Boss, Victor Jones.
What? I didn't agree
What's
to
up,
this.
gentlemen?
What's going on, Cake Boss? Thanks for being on Elevation today.
Thanks for having me.
So what do you think about all this? You hear JTR over here yapping. We heard from AK Bane. We heard from yourself. You've heard what Hardcore Haas and myself and our opinions based on what we think this match is going to come to light. So you give us your opinion, man. Where's your head at in this whole thing?
See, where my head is exactly where it's supposed to be. You see, AK Bane is nothing but a lackey to JTR. And just like you said, Gavin, look at what's happened to Money and Power since its inception. You got Cassius Carter, who's on the shelf. You got CEO that can't get the job done. And then you got AK Bane. What has AK Bane done since being in WDWA? But rack up loss after loss after loss.
And don't forget about Lynette Dollars, who was there one day and then left. Like,
hey,
take your money and run.
She got that payday and cashed out.
I admitted that was a bad investment, okay? Typical woman. She took the money and ran.
That's
So
all
who's
you
the
make.
sucker here? Who's the sucker? Is it the people taking the money? Or is it you, JTR? Are people just taking your money because they know you're throwing it at them?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, Money and Power is something that people want to be a part of, okay? CEO, in fact, he wanted to be a part of it. He came in with a promise of bringing gold, the heavyweight championship, to Money and Power. So much so.
He has yet to fulfill that promise.
I'm very aware of that. I am very aware that he is yet.
Two championship matches, and he lost both of them.
A man that has the moniker of the 1%er because of the fact he only wins 1% of his matches.
Hoss, you're real funny. Real funny. You can keep saying that all you want. Look, CEO knew when he came into Money and Power, when he bought in, that there were some prerequisites. One of them was the heavyweight championship. And he has yet to capture it. However, time will tell. Time will tell.
Well, let's run it back. Let's run it back to when CEO was a member of Sweet Elite. And look what he accomplished. He was a tag team champion, a West Virginia champion. He also became a heavyweight champion. But since being a part of Money and Power, he's done nothing but wear some crusty boots, a $2 jacket, maybe $3 shades, and rack up loss after loss after loss.
And this is the thing is, from what I know, is CEO didn't join Money and Power. CEO bought into Money and Power. So there was a 50-50 split on ownership. What makes you think, JTR, that CEO shouldn't just buy you out and create his own army?
Let me tell you something. Hey. Let me tell you something first and foremost here, Gavin. You don't know anything. You don't know the numbers. You have no idea about the financial documents in Money and Power that were the deal that we crafted when CEO bought in. Yes, he did buy in. He sure absolutely did. But also, here's the thing. I've left him to do what he was supposed to do. Period. He was supposed to go out and get the gold, bring it home. I gave him Jason Curtis. I gave him that, what he wanted, what he asked for. I don't need to stand there and babysit him. So it's not my doings that he's not winning. I'm not there in his corner. I'm out handling other business, building this army.
Building what army, JTR? An army of losers.
Okay.
So This Saturday, go ahead, pull up your short bus with AK Bane. Make sure you get a little napkin so you can wipe the drool off his mouth before he gets into the ring. And then I'm going to kick him in his face. And when I win this Saturday, you might as well just go ahead, send everybody from Money and Power to the unemployment line because you're going to be bankrupt. It doesn't matter who you try to pick up, who you try to get to buy in. Money and Power is always going to be a failure.
Okay, boss. You can keep saying that all you want. But I seen your little video. Trust in Vic. Well, trust in this, Vic. Saturday night at Code Red, I am the general of the army that is Money and Power, and I'm sure you've seen the movie where Jack Nicholson ordered the Code Red. Well, guess what? This Saturday night, the title is very fitting because I'm ordering a Code Red on you from AK Bane.
Well, go ahead, General Jackass. Make the order. Call it in. Call it in. Because if I even catch a glimpse of you interfering in my match, there's going to be problems.
Okay, bud. Yeah. Gavin, get this idiot away from me.
You know, the
Get
way
him
I
away
see
from
it
me.
is Money and Power has 2 times to shine this weekend. Once, the debut of the Helm, get to take on the team of DeMarcus Kane and Chuck Lennox. Now, we've talked about DeMarcus Kane being who he is, but do not sleep on Chuck Lennox. Chuck Lennox has years of experience and can run circles around the roster that we have here at WDWA. Second time, Cake Boss against AK Bane. Bane has something to prove. Bane has not reached success here at WDWA like Cake Boss has. So that's 2 shots for Money and Power to do something. So if they don't, JTR, your army that you're putting together is going right back down, rung by rung, straight to the bottom, so that other people could step in place for their chance. You know, Hardcore Hoss, we've heard JTR complain, and give us broken promises. Do you have anything else for JTR before we let him go for the night?
No, not really. I mean, personally, I've heard enough. You know, I've heard him spew mistruths tonight. I've heard, you know, it's not gonna he's not gonna be able to buy his way to the championship like he wants to. So I'm done with him if you are.
I was done before he came on. Cake Boss, you got anything for JTR before we let him go?
JTR, man, all I got to tell you is shut your mouth and pay attention this Saturday. Make sure you make better choices next time. Because everybody that you brought in to WWA has been lackluster. I'm one of the founding fathers of this company. Just like Gavin said earlier, I'm one of those guys that LT brought in to build a foundation here. So in a sense, I'm a gatekeeper. So anybody that wants to come in to WWA and make a name for themselves, they're going to see Vic. And as far as AK Bane goes, I hope you have him well prepared.
Well, I tell you what, Vic, I'm glad that you're part of the foundation. I'm so glad because this Saturday night at Code Red, AK Bane is going to crumble that foundation when he drives your head through it. And as far as Black Wall Street, the Helm is coming with live rounds only. And you'll find out because that's right, Gavin, we got 2 shots. And you might as well call me Babe Ruth right now because I'm calling my shot. 2 for 2 this Saturday night. And you know why? Because there's only 3 letters in this entire world that matter, and that's JTR. I'm out.
All right.
Man.
Seems a little aggressive there.
Yeah. Cake Boss, you know, what do you think, buddy? You know, I feel the fans are behind you. I feel like the locker room's behind you. Are you able to shut JTR's mouth and shut the reign of AK Bane down?
Well, you know, JTR said he's bringing live rounds with him. But last I heard, that guy's shooting blanks.
Oh.
So this Saturday, I'm going to shut him up. I'm going to get rid of AK Bane. and then get back to business as usual. You see, I got my eyes on the prize. I like Jordan Evans. He's a great guy. But I want my opportunity at that heavyweight championship. A one-on-one match, no interference, just two of the best that WDWA has to offer.
Well, man, keep working hard. Keep putting those shoulders to the mat, and you'll definitely get that shot again, man. I guarantee it. Hoss, you got anything else for the boss?
Just, good luck. I'll be watching, and, I hope that you come out victorious, and I know that you're going to continue right back to the top, man. You're great. So good luck to you.
I appreciate that, fellas, and don't forget to trust in Vic.
Peace. Well, man, that got heated real quick, But yeah, I just want to say a big thanks to both our guests, Cake Boss Victor Jones and J.T.R. For taking the time to come on the Genesis of Elevation. Now that J.T.R. is off, we can turn the volume back up. Hoss,
we've still got to find out who he paid to get on here this week, because we got to get a little bit of that money or something.
Hey, maybe JTR throw some ducats our way, man. We might throw a Money and Power shirt on until we can get our, cash the checks, and then switch back over to Wrestle Talk and WDWA. Speaking of Wrestle Talk, man, for those that aren't aware of Wrestle Talk, you want to talk a little bit about Wrestle Talk?
Oh, yeah. Wrestle Talk, we are here the opposite Tuesdays of Elevation. And, we get talent from all over the country. We're not just central to one area. We get it from all over the country. We've got it from the Midwest. We've had people from East Coast, and we've had people from California, Texas, you name it. We've had them. We've had some of the bigger names on too. We've talked with Cowboy Bob Orton before. We've gotten to talk with several big name people, Gangrel, Al Snow, and many others.
Yeah, I know you guys got to talk to one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, beautiful Bobby Eaton back in the day.
Yeah, we've had him before, so be sure to check us out. 8:05 Eastern, 7:05 Central Time, and every other Tuesday night. And I believe we have a little video package for them as well.
Wrestle Talk podcast. Please tune into them. Put on a great show, great bunch of guys, full of information. If you guys didn't catch the WrestleMania recap, everybody gave their opinion. Yours truly gave some of the opinion. But another great family, another great team over there. Please show them nothing but love. Renee Night Owl, leading the charge over there with their group. So please show them some love. Speaking of love, John, and this is something that I'm going to do on the fly. So apologies for not discussing this with you, but the way my mind works is sometimes things just pop up. But you know what, man, I would like to go through the Code Red card coming up. And if you don't mind, I'd like to make this a little fan interactive. I wouldn't mind getting one of the fans from the comment section to pop in here and give their opinions as well. John, would you like to reach out to one of the fans and see if they want to come on and give us their opinion on these upcoming matches for Code Red?
All right, I can definitely do that for you. And let's see. Who would like to come on tonight? As I was not expecting this. Let's see.
Sorry, buddy. Susie Hall says Andrew. Let's pull Andrew. Andrew Dowdy. Where you at, Dowdy?
All right, we're going to have to send him the link here real quick.
All right. I'll take full responsibility for this hesitation. While we wait for Hoss to get a hold of Dowdy, I will play the re-debut coming soon of the artist formerly known as Scarlett, Liberty L. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Liberty L, formerly known as Scarlett, will make her WDWA re-debut at the all-women's show called Broken Barriers on June 7th. So happy to have Scarlett back. Looking forward to meeting her as Liberty L and seeing the destruction that she lays ahead. Mr. Hardcore Haas, were you able to get a hold of Dowdy?
I have sent him the link, and he has seen the link, so hopefully he'll be joining in here. But
there he is.
Yeah, I definitely am looking forwards to seeing Scarlett come back. Even though she won't be Scarlett, she was a force to be reckoned with when she was here before, and she had to take some time away, and it's understandable. I think every now and then, just about everybody takes a little time away, and it's needed for when they do that. And so I look forwards to her return, and look forwards to seeing this new character and what this new character is going to bring. So definitely excited for it.
If Liberty L is anything like Scarlett, watch out women's division, because it is about to be taken over.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have our fan here for the night. So let's go ahead and welcome him in, the one and only Andrew Dowdy.
Andrew Dowdy, what's up, buddy?
Doing good, Kevin. Doing good, John. How about you guys?
Doing well. Sorry about the short notice. I sometimes act on the fly. I think on the fly, and craziness happens. So, Hoss, I appreciate you rolling with the punches, and Andrew, I appreciate you jumping on, man. But I want to make this as fan interactive as we can. We love seeing you guys in the comments. We love anytime we get to interact with you guys. So something I would like to do on Elevation is bring on different fans different weeks and hear their opinion. We have 8 matches to go through, so it's a lot. But Andrew, what do you think about the Black Wall Street versus the Helm for the tag team championship titles? He's frozen on my screen. Is he frozen on yours?
Yeah, it looks like he froze up there.
He's a deep thinker.
Let's stick him backstage here for a moment. Just I'll watch for his camera to come back.
what we could do, John, to save a little time while Andrew does what he needs to do, is we can go ahead and jump on over to ourselves. I can't wait for this match, John. To me, this next match that we're getting ready to put up could be the show stealer. If anybody knows about these gentlemen, know that both of them shoot for perfection. And to me, both of these guys are stars in themselves. Both of these guys bring everything to the table. This match can go anyway. John, I'm talking about the Lightning Ryo versus the guy with the supply, Ty Awesome. Now, I don't know how much the people out there know about these two guys, but holy hell!
Okay, well,
Ty Awesome just wrestled, with the NWA, or getting ready to wrestle with the NWA. He's does a lot on the East Coast of Delaware. He's former WDWA light heavyweight champion. He is all over the place. He is like amazing to watch in the ring. But he's going up against the Lightning Ryo, the first Peruvian WDWA wrestler, the first Peruvian WWE wrestler, the first Peruvian AEW wrestler, the first Peruvian Ring of Honor, the first Peruvian CZW. This guy has been all over the country, all over the world. John, what do you think of this match?
This is going to be another very close match, I tell you. And just knowing the two of them, and it's going to be exciting. And both of them have the fans behind them. The fans really do like both Ty and why did my mind just go blank on me?
And Ryo?
Yes, but fans really like Ryo. They really like Ty, and so it is going to definitely be one heck of a match, and it's going to be a close match. And I really can't call who's going to take this one.
Andrew, welcome back, buddy. We're on the guy with the supply, Ty Awesome, versus the Lightning Ryo. Who do you have in this match?
Give me a second. Honestly, when it comes to me, I like Ty Awesome. I'm a huge fan of Ty, but I'm also a fan of Ryo. So it's like I can't pick between the two of them. So I just gotta say best of luck to both, because I like them both. They both have great skills,
I agree
and
with
I've
you.
seen what they can do with that athleticism.
Yeah, I will say, no matter who wins this match, the fans win. But Andrew, I think, said he's more on Ty Awesome, right, Andrew? For this match? You're going with Ty?
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, I would say I'm going with Ty.
All right, Hoss. Who you got, buddy?
As tough as it is to call, I might have to just give the edge to Ryo, just because of the experience that he brings from where he's been around so much, and I'll give it to Ryo, but it's a very reluctant giving it to Ryo because it's going to be so close.
Well, man, both of you guys put me in the spot, 1-1, but I love both the guys to death, but I think the fans are a little bit more behind Ty Awesome, and sometimes with that adrenaline, it gets you places, man, that you want to be. So I'm gonna have to go with Ty Awesome on this, guys. But speaking of athleticism, guys, we have got to talk about the light heavyweight championship match. This is a 4-way. You have Tommy Vex, Merrick Miami, Stan Styles, and then the light heavyweight champion, Just Jay. Guys, Tommy Vex, to me, I love watching this guy. This guy, not only does he make me laugh, he's so talented, and being the way that he is, I would hate to wrestle him because I don't even know what he's thinking or from one moment to the next. This guy's just so out there. Stan Styles, every time he comes in, Somebody's getting creams. You don't know what's gonna happen. All you know
Every
is somebody's
time.
getting creamed.
Sorry to disrupt you. Every time Stan comes on Style, I'm just like in the crowd being like, cream me, cream me. So I'm just like, oh, he cracks me up.
Is the cream going to be banned from ringside?
Oh.
There's in wrestling they have something called a foreign object, right? And when you use this foreign object, it usually causes a disqualification. They call it a foreign object because the object isn't supposed to be used. It's not a part of the match, so it's foreign to the match. I think whipped cream is a part of Stan Styles. Now, maybe not the can. Like I don't want him to hit anybody with the can, but the cream, man, I think this guy has more cream in his blood or in his system than blood. What about you guys?
Well, but last time Vex was in the ring with Styles, he had a note. Was it from Dr. Feelgood or somebody?
Yeah,
Dr. Pepper or something like that. Anyway, that he had an allergy, and so it should be banned from the ring. So if it's going to be ringside, then I got to count Vex out of this one for sure because he's just going to go into convulsions from the cream.
Yeah, that's what he says. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar because he's making his debut, but Merrick Miami. I was watching this kid back way when he was a fan, way back in the day. This is a kid that used to bring used to follow Double Dragon, an old tag team, from Berkeley Springs at Covey Pro Wrestling. He used to hold up signs for them and walk to the ring with them. This kid's been around for a long time, and I am so glad he's coming to WDWA because I can't wait for the WDWA fans to actually see what this kid brings to the table. I mean, this is a kind of, and I call him kid because he's younger than me, but he's been around for a little while now. But this is a guy that had the balls to go online, make a ton of promos and videos to non-wrestling fans, make a ton of videos talking and calling out his favorite wrestler of all time, which is Matt Cardona, aka Zack Ryder, and he made video after video and he dressed like them. And, he had posters and t-shirts and all that stuff. He was his biggest fan. And he did this for so long that Matt Cardona ended up wanting a match with Merrick Miami, and those two met one-on-one, and what a great match and great moment for his career. But he's coming to WDWA and he's coming to the light heavyweight division where it is top notch, and it doesn't get much better than our current light heavyweight champion, Just Jay.
Definitely.
I will say, the last time we saw Just Jay, the fans were a little iffy about him. Nobody's ever knocked his work, but the fans were a little iffy. I don't know if the guy he was in the ring with, the fans were just liking a little bit more than him. But something about that last time we saw Just Jay, he's kind of teeter-tottering, with crowd reaction. So I'm looking forward to seeing, how he approaches this match, and will the fans accept him? What do you guys think?
Yeah, the fans do seem to teeter-totter, but I have always said wrestling fans are just some of the most fickle people. One minute they can be cheering somebody, the next minute they can be booing them, and it's like a light switch, and it's just so it's hard to say what reaction you get, but I think Just Jay can keep this title. I mean, he's been on fire ever since he got it, and so I really do think he can keep it.
Andrew, what about you, buddy? Out of these four, who do you think is going to take it?
I feel like Just Jay could retain the title, sweep clean right there.
I agree, guys. I couldn't be more proud of how hard this guy's been working, moving up in the ranks. So very talented. All eyes are on this guy right now. Still a little worried on, how he'll be perceived. I've been there. I've been in, I've wrestled, to where I thought fans were loving me, and, you would hear the boos, and it does mess with you. It messes with your head. So I'm just curious how he approaches it. I hope the same old Just Jay shows up, performs and delivers the best match possible. But, I think we're 3 for 3 on Just Jay. Another match I'm looking forward to, guys, with a huge story to it, which, I'm like hook, line, and sinker, has been, Sigma Male, LDJ, making his WDWA debut last month. Man, to me, like he stole the show. He was amazing. But, in case people aren't familiar with him, and even if WDWA fans aren't familiar with him, he's got ties to Supremacy Stephen Forte. These guys have wrestled, as a Sigma males up and down the East Coast. As you've seen, guys, this past, year or two, Supremacy's been red hot, and they've been doing everything that they needed to do. First we had Clay Jacobs throw a wrench into their plans, and things kind of crumbled. Ever since then, things have gone downhill. They lost the tag titles, they lost the heavyweight titles. The one key factor to all of this has been Stephen Forte has remained the same. He has had an injury that has kept him on the side, on the sidelines, watching all the success from Supremacy for the past 2 years. We got word 2 months ago about Stephen Forte's doctor releasing him. We mentioned it to Supremacy. They did not tell Forte. Forte just now recently found out that he is cleared to return to the ring. And at the same time, his old pal, his old tag team partner, his old running mate, his other Sigma male, LDJ, he's in the WDWA now. We saw the last show where Chulo Montana and LDJ went with it, and there was a little bit of friction, guys. And we're going with Chulo's tag team partner Y Keys this time. So what do you guys think?
Honestly, anyone who's taken on Supremacy is a friend of me, so I got LJD, man.
John, have you had a chance to check out what LDJ had to say?
I did. I believe I have seen that one on the page, and it's just going to be. I don't even know what to say, because it's just, there's so many questions around this whole thing. So, but why don't we check out what LDJ had to say for those who haven't seen it?
Boss, come on. For real? Duty calls, I guess. What we got today? Let's see what we got. 2 out of the 3 tasks completed at WDWA. However, Steve has still not come and made his alliance and made his agreement that one day he was a part of the Sigma Males, and that one day, we were at the top of the tag industry. But you want me to bring them back fully. So I have to take out Supremacy completely. I've already taken out Chulo, and now you want me to take out Y Keys. Once Y Keys is taken out, anybody else that stands in your way, take them out. And then Steve, Sigma Steve that is, has no better option than to come join me, LDJ. So that's exactly what's going to happen back in West Virginia, in South Berkeley, on 10 May. When I put a warhead on Y Keys' forehead, and finally Stephen Fuerte can come join LDJ. That's not me lying to you. What that is a Luke Johnson statement.
I don't know, man. There's something about this guy. I gotta say, before coming to WDWA, like I wasn't really too familiar with him, but I saw the performance he put on last time. I think this guy's phenomenal. I mean, what did he say? I'm gonna put a warhead on your forehead, and he calls himself Luke Nukem. I mean, I love it, guys. I love it. Hoss, what are you thinking, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, he seems to be a force to be reckoned with. And let me tell you, I got an up close and personal view of that box that he carries when he put it down in front of myself and Donnie. And, he said there was a warhead for the forehead in that box. And we were a little concerned. We weren't sure we want to be anywhere close to that box. But, I don't know what he has in that box. I was happy when he got it away from us, but I think that he's probably going to come out with a victory in that because he seems very determined, and hopefully, I don't understand Supremacy keeping Steven sidelined, other than they're scared he's going to steal the spotlight from him.
That makes a good point.
I hope that Steven will see through it and, find his way back to Sigma males, and we'll see Steven back in the ring here soon.
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better, man. I hope for the same thing. It was a tragic, injury that Stephen Forte suffered, which really put him on the shelf. He didn't know if he was going to ever be able to wrestle again. He had an injury to his back that could have paralyzed him, and luckily it didn't. You could say what you want about liking or disliking Supremacy, but all five of those guys are great in the ring. They all back up what they say. And that's why you can't overlook Y Keys in this match. To me, Y Keys is a wild card. You can't prepare for Y Keys. He's phenomenal in the ring. I watch him do things that guys half his size does. So as much as I'm impressed with LDJ, I might have to give this one to Y Keys.
But you said something though that brings up a question. You said these 5. Is there still 5?
Oh.
I don't know. I'm hoping to get some answers with it. Honestly, I'm just sitting back and watching it just like the rest of you. We'll talk a little bit, about what you mean a little later with our main event. But yeah, I mean, John, you hit the nail on the head with that one. You just never know. You don't know where loyalty lies, and you don't know what's going to happen. I think now's great time to be a WDWA fan, because you're coming to shows with expectations, and right when you think you know it all, something changes, and that's what keeps people keep going. You keep shocking them. You keep hyping expectations, and then when you get there, the expectations, they excel. So yeah, Andrew, who do you think has this match, LDJ or Y Keys?
I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna go back to what you said, that we can't look over him. I basically look over everyone because of my height and all that. But again, Y Keys does have great athleticism. But I have to give this to LJD. Because Supremacy is hiding something from Steven. So
yeah, something shaky in the house of Supremacy. Hardcore Hoss.
Like I say, I give it to LJD, and unless unless Steven decides to be completely loyal to Supremacy and do what he would be expected to do by Supremacy, then it might be a different story. But I tend to give this one to LJD.
I see how it is, guys, leaving me out here on an island with my choices. Don't think I don't know your guys' game. Let's
What
move
game?
along, guys. One of the things that I think WDWA has been fantastic about has been the women's division. Uh, I believe we have the best women's division around. That's something that I don't take lightly. It's something that I've really wanted to push around the area. Very proud of the way it is, and this next mixed tag match has two of the women, best women on the roster. Former WDWA Women's Champion Valerie teams up with her boo, her Samwell Thompson, and they will go 2-on-2 against Gerard Garrett and Temptacious Tiffany Grady. Guys, this one's going to be hard to call. First of all, Valerie and Sam are phenomenal. Whether they're together or alone. I've said this before. I think Valerie is the face of the women's division. She has been here for the last couple years, and every other woman that's come in and out has gone through Valerie. Has had to meet Valerie. She's been the one mainstay that hasn't left. Tiffany, ever since she's come in, man, she's been a rock star. The fans hate her, but they love to hate her. And Samwell, oh my God, Samwell, to me, phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about Samwell. I can watch that guy wrestle all day long. Never ceases to amaze me. Just phenomenal to watch in the ring. But Gerard Garrett, he's been to WDWA now one time. Great. I've been watching this guy wrestle for a couple years. I've been taking my time reaching out to him to kind of bring him in, letting him grow. Just been, climbing up the ranks everywhere he's gone, and finally him and I linked up. We chatted. He came in. He got a victory, and he's yet to come back. And, Tiffany wanted a little reinforcements, and she reached out to me and she said, "Hey, can you call Gerard Garrett, get him on the phone? Because I need a partner." And he accepted, so, obviously honestly, guys, this match can go either way. I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Andrew?
Pretty always wins. His longest reigning light heavyweight champion and the greatest greatest women's champion.
You're right, man. Longest light heavyweight champion. I mean, he had that thing for almost 2 years. Phenomenal. Hoss, what's your opinion?
I'd really love to give this one to Sam and Valerie, but I know Tiffany will do whatever Tiffany has to do. And so knowing that, I'm not sure whether Sam and Val actually win this or if Tiffany's going to pull it out because, like I say, she'll do whatever she has to win. So I think I'm going to have to give it to Tiffany just because I can see her coming out with the win somehow. I'll be nice about how I put it. She'll come out with a win somehow.
I see exactly what you're saying, man. By any means necessary, and that's Tiffany, and that's Gerard Garrett. Neither one of them, man, you can't sleep on. You can't take any of them lightly. Both of them are looking to climb the ranks here at WDWA. Tiffany Grady has actually, said, "I will be the women's champion." You can bet on that. She's already talked it into her destiny. She will not sit back and without fulfilling what she said she was going to do. So you're right, John. She's a wild card, and you can't put anything past her of what she will and will not do to win a match. But got to go with Andrew. Pretty always wins. I got to go with Sam and Valerie on this one, guys. So, John, you look like you're out on an island all by yourself, buddy. I know how it feels. Guys, this brings us to the Mid-Atlantic Championship match. The Gatekeeper, Cisco, returned to win a battle royal to beat former champion Anton Nathan, longest reigning Mid-Atlantic champion. But his first title defense is against Ranch Hand Carlson, guys. And Ranch Hand Carlson, he sent me a video today. He said, "You better play this on Wrestle Talk podcast. I want everybody to know how I feel about going into this match." And ladies and gentlemen, this is what the Ranch Hand had to say about the Mid-Atlantic Championship match coming up this Saturday.
May 10th at WDWA, the Ranch Hand Carlson fights the Gatekeeper Cisco. And I hear the people saying, new champ, new champ, new champ. And there's a reason that is. Cisco, I don't know if you've ever been in a wrestling ring before, Cap, but there's no gates in a wrestling ring. It's just two grown men fighting for a prestigious championship in the WDWA Mid-Atlantic Championship. I'm walking in without it. I'm walking out with it. Because you have no gate to keep there, Daddy.
Man, he is ready, guys. He is ready. He's got his eyes on the prize. I don't think, full steam ahead, guys. Full steam ahead when it comes to Ranch Hand. So aggressive in the ring. Such a badass. Again, loose cannon. He's going to be hard to bet against. I have all the respect for Cisco. I've known him for years. Surprise return. I didn't even know that he was going to be there. This guy in the mask showed up in the back, started talking like broken Spanish to me, which I understood a little bit. Asked if he could be in the match, and I was like, yeah, why not? Whoever's here, join the match. He jumped in, he won, took the mask off, and I was just as shocked as you guys. What a great moment. This one's going to be hard for me to call. I'm going to. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I got to give it to Cisco. I think Cisco will come out victorious and retain his title. He really fought to win that thing, and I think he's determined to keep it. So I got to give this one to Cisco over the Walmart Cowboy.
Walmart Cowboy. I got to go with Cisco too, because again, he's been waiting to get his hands on Anton to reclaim, what was lost from him. So I got to go with the Gatekeeper, Cisco.
Yeah, I mean, see, this is the thing is like, and this is what's putting me on the fence, guys, is, Cisco has not been at WDWA for a long time.
No.
Anybody that attends WDWA shows on the regular knows we are constantly rolling, constantly bringing in new talent. Everybody's growing. Everybody's getting better. Talent's getting better by the day. Yeah, he came back. Yeah, he defeated Anton. But, now that you have that championship and everybody's gunning for you, you have got to be the best. Like, you have got to be the best. There is no other way. You're defending that title now. And with all this time off at WDWA, sometimes people don't come back 100%. Yeah, he came back enough to beat Anton Nathan, but is he coming back enough to put the Ranch Hand Carlson down? I don't know, guys. I love Cisco. I think he's phenomenal. I am very glad that he is wearing the prestigious Mid-Atlantic Championship title. Well deserved. But, with that much time off, guys, I think I'm going to have to give it to the Ranch Hand.
Gotcha.
Ranch Hand Carlson, man, he's been traveling with the NWA, and everybody knows the history of NWA, and he's getting rubs off those guys. He's picking their brains. NWA is prestigious. I mean, you're talking Lou Thez, Harley Race, Ranch Hand Carlson may be in that category one day. He may be the NWA world champion one day, the greatest World Heavyweight Championship that ever was. That was held by the best, the Briscoes, the Funks, the Flair, Ric Flair. You know, like it's gonna be hard, guys, but I'm gonna go with the Ranch Hand. I think you guys both said Cisco. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, here we are on the island again. And ladies and gentlemen, we have one final match for Code Red this weekend. This will be our main event. Hoss, what do you think, buddy?
You know, this is another match where I don't think Misused is concerned with winning. You know, I actually said it when I was at the commentary table. You know, Misused is a team that they get in there and they fight, but I'm not sure they worry about winning a match. They're more so worried about, you know, fighting, and they just want to punish you for putting your nose into their business.
Yeah.
And that's all they want. They don't care if they win the match. It's about punishing you. So Clay, though, he can take the punishment. I mean, Misused has come out on top over him several times. And
Yeah, but they've always taken two. It's always taken two to put down Clay. And Clay's not alone anymore. You know, despite what we thought would never happen, you know, two enemies found a common goal, and both of them came together as one unit, and they're going against Misused. The Exiles, Zakar Shaw, showed up at the Holy Grail. I didn't even know he was there. You know, came out in street clothes, which honestly, given the history, I thought he was coming out to help Misused beat down Clay. But the second he turned, you know, and he started punching Misused and putting them down, the fans erupted. I erupted. I thought this hat that I was wearing that day flew off my head. I was shocked so much. What a moment for WDWA. What a moment for Zakar Shaw. Never thought I would ever see fans cheer for this guy. I mean, this is a guy that, you know, they would, you know, chase with a burning stake. Like, you know, they hated this guy.
but guy Andrew had to hold Susie out of the ring from going.
Oh my gosh, that one day. Oh my goodness, man.
But holy hell, they hate Misused more that they're willing to give, you know, the Judas of wrestling, you know, the worst of the worst, you know, all of their love and support. Like this right here, like this is what wrestling is all about, guys. You just never know. This is what you love, you know. You could hate somebody one day, love them the next. But in the end, everybody hates Misused, you know. But guys, let's not sleep on Misused, man. They, like John said, they're not about, you know, winning matches. They're not about being the best wrestlers. They're about being the best everything. You know, they don't care what it takes, and they're not trying to pin you. They're trying to take you out of the business. I mean, they exposed the wood. They did everything they could to take Clay Jacobs out of wrestling. You want to talk about unpredictable. You want to talk about like things you wouldn't think wrestlers would think about. These two guys have, you know, brains like no others. And the thing is like with all of like the domination that they do, no pun intended to WDWA, but you know, all of like the chaos they bring, all that stuff, these guys are smart and they are phenomenal wrestlers. You know, it's not the fact that they don't know how to wrestle, because both of those guys, you know, they were trained by the great Bruiser, first ever WDWA Hall of Famer. God rest his soul. They both were trained by him. And everybody that comes out of that camp, you know, they're on a pedestal all by themselves, you know. So they have all of the tools. But don't forget somebody else that came out of that camp, Clay Jacobs, guys, you know, former WDWA heavyweight champion. You know, he came out of that same camp under Bruiser. So, you know, everything that they bring to the table, Clay brings to the table. And then you want to add former 3-time WDWA heavyweight champion Zakar to the mix, guys, like, to me, this is like Mega Powers. This is like, Road Warriors Demolition. Like, these are like 4 of the best of WDWA. Whatever combination you put them in, like, to me, just with having these 4 guys in a ring at the same time, it's like WDWA going up to strangers and saying, hey, this is what we are. This is the product that we put out, because we can't pick 4 better guys to show how good of a product we are. Because whether you love or hate Misuse, whether you love or hate Clan Zakar, those 4 guys will get in there and beat the shit out of each other. And, you're going to be entertained, one way or the other. Both teams will make sure that happens. And both teams are out for blood, and both teams want to win, and both teams want to take the other team out. Like, this is going to be a hard match to watch, because I don't even know if a referee is going to be able to call this match. I mean, what do you guys think?
I'm not sure if they can either, and poor Danica, I know she's watching here, and, I don't know if she wants to be the one to even try with all the knocks she's been taking lately, so if the referee might just get knocked out in this one as well, rather. So
referees might have to start wearing helmets or bubble wrap, Well, Andrew, before I get you picked, man, there was a video that went out with Misuse, talking how they feel about this match. Let's go ahead and check this out before I get your opinion.
Uh,
The WDWA Tag Division is holy ground for Misuse. And we find ourselves upon it once again to prove our point, to prove that we've been the top of that tag division. Now, sure, you may not see any gold around our waist, but Black Wall Street knows, Supremacy knows, whoever Party McFly is teaming with this month, they know that the tag division has an... Okay.
Zakar, Clay, we have a lot of personal problems right now, but now we have a bigger problem because I'm pissed off. They're calling you two a team. And you two are not a team. You two are the furthest thing from a team.
They're a team, buddy. They're a team. And when that bell rings, the team they gotta look across at is one of the most dominating forces to ever step foot in that ring. And I'm a little scared of what these hands are gonna do.
Because now you two have the unfortunate pleasure of finding out what it's like to get on our bad side personally, and what it's like when it's just business. Boys, now you two truly are in our world, and we are taking you out of it.
Guys, that says it all. That backs up everything I just said. These guys are prepared. They are on the same level. They are obviously looking over each other's, back. Is Zakar and Clay going to be able to, put all the history aside to work things out and do what needs to be taken? I mean, Andrew, what do you think?
First of all, I want to give a shout out to Billy and Danica, because again, they've been through a lot, especially with Misuse and their shenanigans and their treachery. But I'm still in my mind, it's like, yeah, Zakar is doing something good, but it's like, what is his angle? Can he be trusted? That's still what's going through my mind. And then Misuse, they just need help in general.
You make some good points, Hardcore Hoss. What do you think, buddy?
There are just so many things to this match that you don't know about. You know, I mean, you look at how they manhandled the refs. Will somebody step up in favor of the refs to kind of help the refs, or will one ref or maybe even more retaliate back against them at some point? You know, then you've got the whole what's going on with supremacy thing, going there with Zakar, and there's just so much to this match that you really could sit down and unpack that just put this match to make it just an unknown, because you don't know what's going to happen or who might come out or what answers might come out of it, and so it's just so hard to call with so many unknowns.
Yeah, you're right, man. So many angles, so many variables that can happen in so many ways. Like, honestly, I'm as crazy as it is, like, I'm just excited for it, as long as they don't cost me my permit for renting the building, and I'm all about letting them do their thing. I'm just excited to watch it. So, but yeah, as for the referees, we do not take laying your fingers on the referees lightly. This is something that here at WDWA you do get fined for. Every time somebody lays their hand on a referee, they do not get paid that night. And further reformation does happen. I've warned misused about laying their hands on a referee. I will have another talk with them next time I'm around them, which will be this weekend, so that this doesn't happen again. I like to apologize to the referees because, they put their safety on the line under my word. I gave them my word that I would not create a bad atmosphere for them to work in. But sometimes, though I try, I can't put a leash on everybody. I can't control them. All I can do is try my best to make it go. But I will just continue to try my best. So that being said, guys, who you got? Zakar and Clay versus Misuse. Andrew.
I can't turn on my boy Clay and Zakar. So
Clay and Zakar, hardcore Hoss. What you thinking?
I'm going to give it to Clay and Zakar just because either I think they pull out the victory, or as I said before, Misused is not worried about a victory. Misuse might just give it away by a disqualification, but it is what it is, and that no matter how it comes about, I think that Clay and Zakar will pull it out.
Yeah, I'm really hoping they can put everything to the side. I'm really hoping all the drama that's going through Supremacy now with Stephen Forte, Chulo, Y Keys, Austin, and LDJ doesn't interfere in the outcome of this match. I hope that's something that can stay separate. And whatever they're dealing with, hopefully they hurry up and finish dealing with it behind the stage so that they can get back out and do what they do best. Man, this one's hard. Misuse has just been dominant. But you know what? If Sakar and Clay can keep their stuff together, I think both of them have all the tools to be able to win this match. So I'm going to go Zakar, Clay. Hoss, you go Zakar, Clay. Andrew, you go Zakar, Clay. Let's hope for the best, and they can take Misuse out for a little bit. Real quick, we had two other matches that we had to skip earlier. Andrew, what is your thoughts on Black Wall Street versus the Helm?
So, again, with all due respect, I don't know who the Helm is. I've never seen them anywhere. I know Black Wall Street. I know how the Kingpin, the man, DeMarcus Kane works. and how he drills people with his finisher. Like, oh my goodness. Like, even though it's not me in the ring, I always have this imagine, like, if I ever became a wrestler and he did that to me, like, oh. But again, I got to go with Black Wall Street retaining the titles.
So he's going with Black Wall Street. I'm going with the Paper Man and the Kingpin. Hardcore Hoss, where you going?
I'm going to go with Black Wall Street. I think they're going to pull it out.
All right. And then the other match we talked about earlier, Cake Boss, Victor Jones will go 1-on-1 against the Monster, A.K. Bane. Andrew, what's your feelings on this?
Bane is a beast. I've seen that about this close to my face. He's no man to mess with, and I will admit that. But if anyone can handle the beef, it's the Cake. So I got Victor Jones.
Got Victor Jones. All right. Yep. And I already said earlier, I got Victor Jones. Hardcore Hoss. You, buddy.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take Victor.
We're going 3 for 3. You know, Money and Power is going down this Saturday night at the South Berkeley Fire Hall in Inwood, West Virginia. Andrew, thanks a lot for joining us, buddy. It's always a pleasure to be around you, you and your family. Hope your dad's doing well. I know he's been fighting some things. Yeah, man, we appreciate your input. We appreciate you spending time here at Elevation. We'll see you Saturday, buddy. Thank you.
It's an honor to be part of, Elevation. I never thought I would be chosen for this, and I'm just like, oh my God, they thought about me. So I'm very grateful. Thank you guys for this opportunity.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
And I can't wait to see you guys on Saturday. So
yep, we can't wait to see you too.
But yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, no.
Johnny, we're getting close, buddy. We're getting close to the end. Just want to throw a couple things out there. If you're looking to sponsor WDWA, we have some package deals. We'll probably be upgrading these packages with our new Elevation podcast. That's something that can help us grow and help your business if you're a business owner, or if you just would like to help WDWA grow. Everything is appreciated. All we're really trying to do is put the best product out there. In the end, it's not about the money. I love professional wrestling. I love to be able to put the shows on. It's unfortunate that it costs money to put on shows. So that's why we always reach out to try to get sponsors. But no matter what, one of the biggest things at WDWA we like to say is we want everyone to leave their burdens at the door. Don't think about work. Don't think about your bills. Don't think about the problems you have. Just come in and those next 2.5 hours, just enjoy professional wrestling. Enjoy the product that we have. Let's just have a good time together, and this is our safe space. The thing about wrestling that I love is everyone, no matter, what sex you are, what race you are, what religion you are, what you look like, you could, the person with the big blue mohawk is sitting against, the grandmother in her in her muumuu. Like, it is a place where everyone is included, and when I say WDWA family, guys, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I love wrestling so much. I've loved it since I was a little kid. It's something that I have been more passionate about than anything else in my life. I never thought I would be in the position I am now to have my own wrestling company. But what I want to do is I want to share with you guys my love for something that I'm in love with, and show you guys why I'm in love with it and why professional wrestling is the best form of entertainment, the best sport that you'll ever find. To me, it's my idea of heaven. It's just professional wrestling. Everybody's included. So, if you guys are interested, we also do different events. People bring us in to help it, enhance their event. It helps attract fans, customers. It increases your brand visibility and awareness. We are on multiple social media platforms and now a podcast. It helps boost your company morale, and it provides memorable experiences for yourself and everybody at your party. John, it has been a pleasure and such an honor to start this podcast with you. I had a phenomenal time. I think we have something great here. I hate to see the night come to an end, John, but brother, my hat is off to you, and thank you for all that you do. And can't wait to do the next one with you, brother. Can't hear you.
See, there we go again. But yeah, I appreciate it, and I thank you, Gavin, for allowing me to be a part of WDWA in some way, and trust me when I say, that Gavin's a great guy to talk to, very easy to talk to. I when this podcast came about, honestly, I was not a part of WDWA in any way, shape, or form, and other than being a fan, and Gavin and I stood out in the field talking until after midnight, and so he's very easy to talk to. You see him, feel free, go up and talk to him. He really is a good guy. WDWA is a heck of a company, and I'm happy to be a part of it, and just thank you for letting me be a part. And be sure to tune in next week for Wrestle Talk podcast, and we'll have another good show there, and just happy to be a part of that as well. So it's just a great time to be a wrestling fan. There's just so much going around and so much great content, and just look forward to doing this with you again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, can't wait, buddy. But I'll see you this Saturday at WDWA's Code Red, out in Inwood, West Virginia. Those guys at the South Berkeley Fire Hall have been amazing. They've opened up their doors to us. They have been very accommodating to all of our needs. So please come check us out, give them a like, see what they have in store. I know that they do different raffles where they give away purses. They had one where they gave, I don't know what they're called. They're like little scratch off things that they do at bars. Somebody in the chat could probably know the name, but they were doing these little scratch offs at the show where they were $1 each. And one of our fans won $500.
The pool tabs.
The pool tabs. Just a great atmosphere. And it's all about building relationships. WDWA is building a relationship with the fire halls and all of our other venues. We're building relationship with the community, ourselves, and Wrestle Talk podcast. We're trying to build a relationship with people from coast to coast and all over the world with these podcasts. And please, give us a share, give us a like, help us get that word out there. Continue showing us love. We'll continue showing you love. And let's all just enjoy life together. Enjoy this thing that we all love called professional wrestling. John, it was a pleasure, buddy. Everybody at home that's watching us, thank you guys very much. Everybody in the chat room, everybody on all the social media platforms, thank you guys all for sharing it. Thank you guys for promoting this first show. John, I can't wait for next week. Take it home, buddy.
All right. So appreciate everybody who's been here tonight, all the comments and everything, and just hope to see you back here next week for Wrestle Talk Podcast, 2 weeks for WDWA Elevation, and hope to see you Saturday night at the next WDWA event. Until then, everybody have a good night.